Break it down. Give me 5 people you ready to fight right now.
Timothy Bradley, Paul, Floyd
Mayweather,
Devin Alexander, and whoever the fan wants.
Listen, I told you give them something visual, so you in the head and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the bruise. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table.
This is what we gotta do. This is what we're about to do right now, if you got a minute, because I think this video was vital to a bunch of other shit that we need to talk about. Because when I was listening to the Keith, you know what I'm saying, that debate that y'all had with Boxing Beats and Rhymes, and y'all were debating Keith Thurman. See, I think a vital part of the shit that's missing is the Cash Cow video. The Cash Cow video is a video that we should have did a long time ago anyway. So we need to break down the Cash Cow wisdom, you know what I'm saying, and the way that it goes, and the way that we study it and figured out how this shit goes. First of all, let me break down the 2 categories real quick, or at least put them out there. Like we discussed, you got the birthed in and you got the self-made cash cows. There's only 2 kinds of cash cows, right?
True.
Birthed in and the self-made. So why don't you kick and give a couple examples of birthed in cash cows, and then we're gonna discuss why they birthed in.
Okay, a birthed in is an example of somebody that's pretty much from birth, from the birth of their career. That's why I call it birth. From the blossoming of the growth of their career, they've already been deemed to do great things. You can never take that away from somebody. Everybody doesn't have that same birthright, okay? Oscar De La Hoya was birthed in from the jump. He had charisma. He had the Mexican-American thing going for him, so that way some Mexicans, although most of them did like him, that worked to his advantage. So you had Mexicans that tuned in that loved him, and Mexicans that tuned in that didn't like him, okay? And they didn't think he was Mexican enough. Then you had Americans that identified with him because he spoke English, and then yet he spoke Spanish. You know, he had done great things in his amateur career. You know what I'm saying? He came in getting a big payday, you know. Yeah. So he was birthed in, without a shadow of a doubt. Another example of recent time and date is Canelo. Canelo can do no wrong. He's birthed in, okay? And believe it or not, a black person is not just limited to Mexicans, but a birthed in is actually your boy Ricky Hack. He was a birthed in one too. People don't know that, but he was.
Yeah, he was.
Okay?
Yeah.
He was. Okay, and then Adrian Broner is a birthed in as well too, because he can do no wrong. A lot of people think maybe he's self-made, but he's not self-made because he still has the prestige of being somebody that can be good to beat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
so. Those for examples.
Yeah, I think with the birthed in, I think also that a birthed in guy is blessed in by somebody who's highly respected in the game already. And I think it kind of goes the same way in the rap game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a guy like Big Sean who was blessed in by Kanye, who was blessed in by Jay, you know? It kind of go that same way. So you have to be blessed in from the inception of your career pretty much. And Broner was blessed in by, you know, Al Heyman, because when he came in the game, he was already with Al Heyman. You know what I'm saying? Other guys just kind of been getting picked up here and there. You know what I'm saying? But he was already with Al Heyman and blessed in from the get-go, you know? So, he was headlining Showtime. I mean, HBO, when nobody knew who the fuck he was. You know what I'm saying? He was just some loudmouth kid from Cincy, you know? So, he was definitely a birthed in guy.
And it's ironic because a lot of people compare him to Berto. Because you know why? Because Berto was the same way. Berto was known for getting all those paydays through Al Heyman. And he also pretty much is falling down the same path thus far as Andre Berto. He was headlining show HBO, and he was explosive. He was fast. He wasn't as flamboyant as Broner, but he definitely had the physique, the look, and he was doing his thing.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Just even going back in history, you had guys like Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. All those guys were birthed in cash cows, from the inception of their careers. When Tyson stepped on the scene, he was a dude who the boxing world was told to pay attention to, And before you know it, this guy was the youngest heavyweight champion ever. Now don't get it wrong. Obviously, all of these guys made things happen in the ring. But the fact that whenever they did anything in the ring, it was a big event, period. You know what I'm saying?
True. And now, what a self-made cash cow is, okay, and it's breaking down cash cowism. All right? Now, a self-made cash cow is basically like a half-breed. If you take the vampire concept, some people are born vampires and some people are made to be vampires.
They bit.
Okay, and
they got bit.
They're never as strong as the birth vampire. They do have some of those attributes. Okay? And given certain circumstance, they can even become just as powerful as a birth vampire, depending on if they do the right thing. But they have to be selective in what they do. Okay? So, for instance, Floyd Mayweather is an example of somebody who was self-made. Floyd Mayweather did not have anything handed to him. He had to beat cash cows to get his recognition. He had to go through the proper channels, and he beat De La Hoya, he beat Canelo Alvarez, and he beat Ricky Hatton. Okay? Prior to that, Chop Corley, all those guys wasn't really, they wasn't a birthday cash cow. Even a lot of people might say, well, what about Gotti? No, Gotti was a self-made cash cow. He was never, we already know his backstory. He was never destined to do great things. He was a Canadian, guy that came through, did his thing, and Floyd Mayweather made a name off him, and that's when he picked his momentum up kind of, because your boy Gotti was a self-made cash cow. Yeah. So you either beat a cash cow or you can beat self-made cash cow to catapult yourself to that next level. Yeah. So for instance, you brought up Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is not expected or looked at as doing great things. He's only looked at as doing great things because of the things that he's done. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Broner wasn't expected to do, he was expected to do great things even though he had not done great things. He had done nothing. It was expected.
Right. And that's why him losing was a big event as opposed to him winning, because he was always expected to win. You know what I'm saying? Because Keith
a cash cow.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, well, I was finna say, because if Marcos or if Adrian Broner, if Paulo Malignaggi had taken the route of fighting Keith Thurman and losing to Keith Thurman, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. Put it to you like this: Broner losing to Maidana would have been a bigger deal, or was a bigger deal, than if Keith Thurman had knocked out Paulo Malignaggi. You know what I'm saying? Even though Broner and Malignaggi had a really close fight, Broner's win over him was even better because he was a birthday and cash cow. You know
I'm gonna break it. I know what you did. I'm gonna say it like this. Reason Paulo Malignaggi ducked Keith Thurman because, like you said, Paulo Malignaggi losing to Broner still is bigger than him beating Keith Thurman.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Because what they would say then is you lost to Broner, but you attached to Broner. Because him being a cash cow, every person that he fights is going to be credible to his resume. They don't care what it is. Because he's already expected to do great things, when he wins, it's a big deal, even if the person's a bum.
Yeah.
When he loses, the loss becomes bigger than his win. That's what plagued De La Hoya's career. His losses you talk about his losses more than his wins.
Right.
Because he lost Floyd Mayweather. That's the biggest fight, the biggest grossing fight ever. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
It was a loss.
Yeah.
Canelo, another birthday, his biggest loss, was to Mayweather. Biggest fight in history. Okay? Tito Trinidad and De La Hoya. One of the biggest fights in history.
Right.
But when you go back and look at his big wins against Ike Cortez, maybe Fernando Vargas, you know what I'm saying?
Twice against Ulysses Chavez.
It doesn't crack.
Right.
Huh?
Twice against Chavez.
Yeah. You know? Look at him, Mayorga. But when you look at his losses to Bernard Hopkins, look at how big that was. That's why they keep saying. And here's the funny part. It ain't that De La Hoya lost all his big fights. It's just that his loss is a big fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Every time he lost, it was a big fight. Yeah. No matter who he lost to, it was a big fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But his
you
wins,
could have swapped it around.
Yeah.
He could have lost to Felix Stern and beat Bernard Hopkins, and Felix Stern would be the man right now.
Right. It still would have been a big win for Felix Stern, but Oscar De La Hoya would have just went up and beat Bernard Hopkins, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're right. Absolutely.
He could have beat Mayweather and lost to Ricardo Mayorga, and Ricardo Mayorga would be a bigger deal, and we might not know who Mayweather is, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's not that De La Hoya lost all his big fights. It's just that when he loses a fight, it becomes a big fight. So people, it's psychologically, they don't put that together. So, you know, I tend to go with the pattern. Now, with this self-made cash cow, the way you become a self-made cash cow, you know, what are you talking about, Zone 6? If you beat the cash cow, that loss becomes a big event. Not only, it's more so a big event for the person who is the cash cow, because it's always all this talking, and then it makes them even bigger because the setback is a setup for a big comeback.
Right.
So now you're trying to see if this fighter gonna come back and get your hopes back up high. People love highs and lows, ups and downs, and the up and down thing of a man. That's what we like. We like to see that excitement. We don't like to see nobody just get drugged through the mud, because then it makes us upset. We don't like to see somebody just ride the whole way through, because we get upset. Right. We don't want people to just be all the way, but we don't ever want nobody to be below us, and we don't ever want nobody to be truly all the way above us or all the way below. We want to kind of keep it even. That's just human nature.
Yeah.
Okay? So with that being said, that's why it's exciting to watch boxers just cash cows go up and down. But Bernard Hopkins, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, you know, they got their cash cowism off beating De La Hoya. Now, they need to see themselves more than the true cash cow, the birthday cash cow. Because the self-made, his cash cowism and his momentum can actually run out.
Right. It goes back to that, like that analogy you use, a full-blooded vampire versus a vampire that was bitten. He'd never really be as strong as a full-blooded vampire, a vampire who was born a vampire, as opposed to the dude who was bitten. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And those vampires, those half-breeds, they have to feed more, and they can't control their hunger as much as the full-blooded vampire. Right. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The full-blooded vampire, you know, tends to kind of can control his urge more so than the new crown vampires that don't know how to deal with it. You know, they can't explain why they feel this way, so they got to just attack motherfuckers in the alley, and they usually go around just biting motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Cause they shit runs out. You know what I'm saying? They damn near be about to die because of that, you know, just that situation. Now, in regards to what's equivalent to what I mean by running out and how that relates to boxing, is that their thirst and their flame runs out and they need to bite somebody else. Because coming out of being a cash cow that's birthed in, you already stuck, because the first thing they gonna say to you, they gonna say, "Oh man, that shit was lucky. I bet he can't do it again."
Right. A prime example is Maidana Broner.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so when they claim that beating Collazo would be good enough, that's a lie, because Keith Thurman is not a birthday and cash cow. Mm-hmm. What we really just waiting on, and what most people are waiting on, is just pretty much see if the guy could go ahead and lose, and so we could just move him to the left. Because see, Berto can lose 3 times and still people talking about, look, this how niggas is, see, and niggas don't even know they've been saying this. Niggas trying to say that Berto is done and he's not that important to justify their argument of why Soto Kawhi wasn't a good opponent. But then I hear whisperings of Berto should fight Adrian Broner.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So whether you even know it or not, you still requesting the presence of Andre Berto.
Yeah.
After he just got folded up by Soto Kawhi. So you're still requesting to see Berto.
Right.
I don't hear too many, check this out. You don't hear too many people mentioning Alexander.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
He lost. He's the loser bracket because he's a self-made, or was trying to be a self-made guy, but he's not a birth-in. Berto's a birth-in. You know what I'm saying?
And he's lost a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? His losses hurt him twice as bad as Broner's losses. You know what I mean?
Because when you're a regular nigga and you're a regular boxer, the way it goes is a win is supposed to be good. A loss, it does supposed to be bad. But with the cash cows, wins are good, but a loss is damn near even bigger.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
They just want you to consistently lose, you know, because then you make an ass out of people and you become not what they thought you were. So you got to mix and match it up.
Right. Victor Ortiz would be an example of that. A birthday and cash cow who just fucked around and just kept losing. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And even still to this day, this nigga losing his 3rd fight in a row, getting knocked out, was still a bigger win, a bigger loss. Like, the shit was still bigger. That nigga, Collazo beating Ortiz was still better than Thurman beating Carras. You know what I'm saying? A nigga
I agree. Even though, check this out. Even though your boy Victor Ortiz was coming out off two knockouts in a row. 2 knockout losses in a row. And then this was his 3rd. So, you getting credit for, you giving a nigga that don't got punching power, that knocked out a nigga that been knocked out 2 times before you by 2 niggas that don't really have punching power. He got knocked out by Floyd Mayweather, who don't have punching power on a technicality, and then he got his jaw broke by a smaller, little guy, Josito Lopez, and then he got knocked out by a guy who's not known for power.
Right.
But I got a guy that knocked out a guy who knocks everybody else out that he fights, and knocked out the previous opponent before him, and he knocked him out, but it's not
right. Exactly.
It's not as big. Carras is still not as big
right.
as Victor Ortiz because
it wasn't the actual cash cow.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? And I understand it because they do it and they don't even know it. They do it in their minds and they don't even know it. They don't even realize it. And I have no problem with it, but I understand. Yeah. That's why I made a point to say, let's take popularity out of it. And it's hard for niggas to do that. And I'm not mad at people when they don't do it. I understand they're coming really truly from a social perspective. And they use accolades and stuff like that to kind of strengthen their argument, But it's one of those things where if you're not a cash cow, man, and you don't self-make yourself, then you got to feed off cash cows.
Yeah, that's the only way you can. That's the only way you can become a cash cow is you have to feed off a cash cow. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And once you become a cash cow, your cash cow COWISM can still burn away if you don't do the right thing, you know?
Let me give you an example. Let me give you a bloodline. Let me show you how deep this shit is. Let me show you. And I'm going to link this shit. I'm going to link it all the way to Sergio Martinez right now. This is what happened. When De La Hoya got beat by Bernard Hopkins, you know what I'm saying? It was a big deal. Then Bernard Hopkins went on to really, when you think about it, what did he really do after that? The next big thing that he done after that
was
lost.
He lost to Jermaine Taylor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's put Jermaine Taylor on the map. And then what happened to Jermaine Taylor? He lost to Kelly Pavitt. And Kelly Pavitt really didn't do too much. And then who beat him? Sergio Martinez.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And now, even from the bloodline of De La Hoya, you got all these niggas that's made. Because without that, if Bernard Hopkins loses to Oscar De La Hoya, you don't have a Kelly Pavitt. You don't have a Jermaine Taylor. You don't even have Sergio Martinez.
Right. Yeah.
People back in, and this is education, and I did some research. Back in 1885 to about 1910, they didn't actually have belts. Okay? They didn't have a tangible physical thing that you can touch. The early times they had the glory, meaning that when you walk around, you had to use your face card. In Georgia, we call something a face card. You just walk around and get a pad. You show your face and everybody like, what up? Yeah. You do it. Okay? So they had to use their face card. When the champion walked down the street, what up, champ? What up, champ?
Yeah.
The people in his fans, the love of the fans had to gather up money to present their champion in the town or the town hall with a prize. Hey, man, we love you. You are our champion. Let's chip in and get this guy a trophy. Then later on, they incorporated belts and something that you could actually wear and actually put. But see, people got to start putting the belt to the side and look at the glory, and that's where the true champions and the true fighters that are worth a damn are at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You got to look at it like that. But people trying to, they usually, the ranking system is okay, but it is flawed. They mix match it, but you still got to remember it. You can't say Pacquiao is the number one contender for the WBO belt when I already broke that down why that is false. Okay? So I don't have to recognize, you can say black and white all you want to, but boxing is subjective. And I have the right to say who that if the man has no premises on why he's not the champion or the number one contender, it's my right to say, just like everybody else can say, I think he's the champion. Keith Thurman's the number one contender for the WBO and the WBA. So he's the number one contender for every champion that claims to be a champion.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? He's more of a number one contender than anybody else. So how is it he can't be more of a contender? Pacquiao can't be more of a contender than him. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that Sean Porter fights can't be more of a contender than him. Yeah, you got Kell Brook being the number one contender for the IBF, but this guy's the number one contender for both sanctioning bodies, and I'm pretty sure if he was ranked, he would be ranked higher than you at the IBF. Or at least them two need to fight to establish who's the true number one contender for all the sanctions.
Yeah.
Out there in the mix. So really, we should have Thurman, Kell Brook, and Pacquiao having a fight off. For real?
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Because it seems like they just keep. Well, I guess once you get to the cash cow spot, even though, let's say, for instance, that Pacquiao's cash cowism is fading, he still has enough cash cowism that he can spawn off another cash cow to this day. It would take something spectacular, like for Bradley to like maybe beat him and maybe even like he might even have to knock him out. But if he win this fight, he might be okay. Won't be particularly a cash cow, but it'll definitely raise his stock a whole hell of a lot by beating Pacquiao.
Why? Because
hang on, dog. Hang on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This is you have a birthday and cash cow going against a cash cow, which is usually a self-made, hard-gritting #1 contender. It's like Marvin Hagler back in the day. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard were birthday and cash cow. Okay? And Hagler waited for all them guys to come up to see him. Okay? That's just the nature of the beast. Now, when it comes to Mayweather and Pacquiao, this would be the first time, to my understanding, that two half-cash cows or half-blooded self-made cash cows would have fought each other. And the reason that fight scared, but we can talk about all this shit, you know, this, that, and that, but this is the bottom line. This is drawing a line in the sand. Both of them are scared of each other. Pacquiao using the fact that Mayweather is viewed as a cherry picker, a dunker, and a dodger, and a chicken. He's yellow. You know what I'm saying? Like the old heavyweights used to say back in the day, they say he have a yellow streak.
Yeah.
And Pacquiao using the fact that Mayweather is scared of him. He's not trying to fight me. And Mayweather's using the fact that what this little guy is doing is suspect, because there's no way physically he can be legit, because nobody moves up and competes at this high level. So his physical integrity is in question. Pacquiao's questioning his man integrity. So they both questioning each other's integrity in the sport to avoid the fight, because both of them are not self-made. I mean, they're both not birthed in. So two self-made niggas in a loss have more to lose than the birth in. See, if Pacquiao was birthed in, him losing would be just as big. If Mayweather was truly birthed in, him losing to Pacquiao would be, that'd be big. And you want to see him come back. But see, once Mayweather lose, once Pacquiao lose, the hotness is over. And I tell you why. Because as soon as Pacquiao got knocked out by Marquez, the Pac-Tars is quiet. I haven't heard shit, none of my Filipino buddies since 2012.
Yeah. Yep.
And the fact of the matter is, as soon as Mayweather lose, a lot of the Floyd Mayweather fans is going to be hurt, because it's going to be nothing after that. The aura is going to be gone. It's nothing. Because those two guys would have been the first two guys that would have fought each other, that would have been cash cows, and it would have been exciting to see. And more, they had more to lose than anybody else in history. Like Tito Trinidad versus Oscar De La Hoya, Tito Trinidad had more to lose from that fight than Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah,
okay? Bernard Hopkins had more to lose from that fight than him. It's just, that's how it goes. But with Bernard Hopkins and Tito Trinidad, when they fought, Bernard Hopkins stepped himself. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
He stepped himself. And Tito Trinidad, pretty much from there, what did he do after that?
Yeah, it kind of faded away. Yeah.
Exactly. He that was it. When you hear from him again, to damn near Roy Jones.
Yeah.
So that goes to show you that it's just one of them things, man. You know. So even Tito, fought Mario and a couple of guys, but it wasn't the same after he lost to Bernard Hopkins, man. It wasn't the same. And then Bernard Hopkins really ain't been the same. I mean, he's around making some history, but he's on Showtime. He's never, after Kelly Pavlik, after Jermaine Taylor, that's pretty much it. Yeah. And then he tried to come back around and tried to salvage it by fighting Kelly Pavlik, but by that time, the momentum had shrunk.
Yeah, Pavlik was already gone. You know what I'm saying? Because he had already got starched by Sergio Martinez, so it didn't even matter by then.
Mm-hmm. Well, Bernard Hopkins beat him first. Then Sergio Martinez came back and beat him.
Oh yeah, because that was at like 168 or something like that, some catch weight.
And
then it went back down to middleweight.
172, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
You gotta look. You see, what I'm saying is, Bernard Hopkins had already lost to Jermaine Taylor. Jermaine Taylor had lost to Pavlik, so Bernard Hopkins tried to come back around and get it from Kelly Pavlik, but you couldn't get it because the nigga you lost to was gone after two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's different. You know what I'm saying? It's just different.
Yeah, it's still not the same as getting the cash cow. And,
exactly.
And you know what?
All three of y'all niggas is from the bloodline of beating you. All those niggas that I just named was from the bloodline of you beating De La Hoya.
Yeah. And
so it got diluted. The glory was diluted. The glory of the victory was impressive, but it was watered down for us being on the highest of highest magnitude.
Right. And check this out. The nigga beat the nigga who beat De La Hoya, but he still didn't get that real glory until he beat De La Hoya.
Mm-hmm. Because I ask you this. This how you know what I'm saying. It got to be real. Because check this out. Bernard Hopkins, are you my computer or anything?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Get some boxing records out so we can make sure we accurate. You know what I'm saying? We ain't trying to just freestyle off the top of the head and be know-it-alls. We want to go ahead and try to make sure we're accurate. Because I want to make sure we ain't just, make sure what we saying is parallel. I want you to pull up Bernard Hopkins and De La Hoya, Wikipedia boxing record and stuff like that, and kind of tell me when you got it. But I'm going to go over it and just tell me if I'm right or wrong. If I'm not mistaken.
You said pull up Bernard Hopkins?
Yeah, Bernard Hopkins and De La Hoya.
All right, hang on.
Okay. Now, the reason this is true is because when De La Hoya lost to Bernard Hopkins and Bernard Hopkins won, when De La Hoya lost to Pacquiao and he lost to Mayweather, they became somebody. And when Bernard Hopkins lost to what it is, Chad Dawson.
Yeah.
It didn't do nothing for him.
Yeah.
I'm saying it didn't do nothing for him because right now beating Bernard Hopkins should still be something. When he lost to Joe Calzaghe, it didn't really do nothing for Joe Calzaghe.
Right. Yeah.
It didn't make Joe Calzaghe a super. It just pretty much stamped Joe Calzaghe as being good at, at super middleweight and then getting the Ring Magazine title from Bernard Hopkins at light heavyweight and then defending it against Roy Jones. He just put legends on his resume.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't catapult none of those people who beat Bernard Hopkins to superstardom.
All right. Okay, I got him up.
So, just looking at, we just going over them, so showing how Bernard Hopkins, although he beat De La Hoya, he's never was a birthday cash cow. He was only a self-made cash cow, and
right.
That's proven by the momentum decline as he fights. But even with De La Hoya, when he lost to Bernard Hopkins, he went on in a losing effort to still break a pay-per-view record.
Yeah.
With another nigga.
Yeah.
Then he also catapulted your boy Pacquiao into superstardom.
Yep.
Bernard Hopkins, a 50-year-old Bernard Hopkins, has not done that for anybody.
And you know what? It was very important after Pacquiao beat De La Hoya to keep winning too. And
exactly.
Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? And Mayweather. And relatively so, both of those guys pretty much kept winning. But the fact that Pacquiao was starting to lose and all of that shit, it's not like when De La Hoya lost twice to Shane Mosley. You know what I'm saying? He lost to Bernard Hopkins. He lost to Tito Trinidad. And like you said, still went on to have the biggest pay-per-view in boxing history. You know what I'm saying? But these other guys can't do that, Manny Pacquiao had a shitty ass pay-per-view with Brandon Rios, you know? He had decent numbers with Juan Manuel Marquez, but he ain't never came close to like breaking the records and shit because he ain't never fought no more birthday and cash cows. Now just think about this. Let's just take Paula Malignaggi and Adrian Broner and let's put that fight in there. And Adrian Broner beats Paula Malignaggi. What kind of fight you think it would have been if Broner would have fought Pacquiao after that?
Huge one.
Right, exactly. Huge, humongous.
Yeah, would have been huge.
Yeah.
It just, that's what it is. It would have been huge. It just ain't no way around it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, you take Andre Berto and Mayweather, which would have been huge. Andre Berto and Pacquiao, it was rumblings of Mayweather about to fight Berto, and it was rumblings of Pacquiao about to fight Berto. That at one time, you know, until you had that Haitian incident, he was helping people over there. So those would have been huge fights.
Yeah.
And right now, the biggest fight, and the reason it is the biggest fight right now is because Pacquiao and Mayweather. But however, Broner is a wild card.
Yeah, and it's always been a couple of guys who could have shook up the game, but they fucked around and fought the other cash cow and lost. And that being Canelo and Victor Ortiz. Victor Ortiz to this day has spawned a nigga like Collazo. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
He spawned Josecito Lopez. Nobody knew who the fuck Josecito Lopez was. I mean, you might have heard of Josecito Lopez, but you damn sure wasn't gonna see him headlining no motherfucking Showtime card on a rival night of a big pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? So,
and look, this how big Ortiz was when people try to act like he's not. This nigga beat Victor Ortiz and got in there with another cash cow and fought Canelo.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's how big that fight was with Victor Ortiz was.
Look how big Berto and Ortiz was. You know what I'm saying? Ortiz, Berto spawned two niggas to fight the other cash cow directly. Because this nigga didn't have no momentum coming into the fight. That nigga didn't have no win streak. But beating Berto spawned him to fight Mayweather. Robert Guerrero spawned by beating Berto to fight Mayweather. Canelo birthed in, fought Mayweather. Broner, losing to Maidana, spawned him to fight Mayweather. So, if you beat a birthed in, but see, like, for instance, because Victor Ortiz and Andre Berto now have lost so much, though beating those guys put you on the map. You know what I'm saying? Like, beating Berto or beating Ortiz now ain't gonna get you no fight with Mayweather. But what it does do is get you a platform to automatically be in the mix. When have a nigga fighting a nigga who lost 2 fights by knockout put you in the contender status? You know what I'm saying? Like, How you knock out a dude who lost his last 2 fights by knockout, and all of a sudden you a major player in the welterweight division?
I know, right?
You know what I'm saying? That don't even make sense. So it's almost like you know, when we look at the cash, you know, like now when I'm looking at the cash cow, it's basically like this. The cash cow gonna pick who he want to fight. And the worst thing you can be for a cash cow is a nigga who might be able to beat you who ain't a cash cow. That's the worst thing you can be.
Yep.
So for instance, let's say Victor Ortiz. Victor Ortiz is a cash cow, a birthday. So And Andre Berto is a birthed in. So Adrian Broner fighting either one of those guys, it's gonna be an event. It's gonna be a big fight, and it really don't matter who lose almost. But the fact of the matter is that them niggas already lost a bunch of times. Broner would kind of need to beat those guys if he was to fight either one of them. You know what I'm saying? So let's say, for instance, if he fought Robert Guerrero. If Robert Guerrero was to fight Broner right now and beat him, it'd be almost as big a deal as when Maidana beat him. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So it's almost like a race to the cash cow. So it just so happens that these other guys been beating Thurman to the cash cows, and that's why he hasn't been spawned yet. You know what I'm saying? He lost out on Victor Ortiz because somebody else beat him. He lost out on Berto because somebody else beat Berto before he can get around to him. He lost out on Adrian Broner, even though Adrian Broner is still a cash cow, but he got skipped over a couple times. So Maidana fucked around and got to him before he could. So now it's almost not a whole lot of cash cows left for him to get his hands on. You know what I'm saying? To be spawned. But he has to be spawned from one of those cash cows. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is, let's say Keith Thurman is successful. Let's say he goes around and he's the man, right? There's going to be one person, it's going to be two people that he can fight. And it's going to be it's going to come down to this. It's going to be Terrell Brooks and it's going to be Timothy Bradley. I would assume that, I know Marquez ain't going to step in the ring with him. Pacquiao will probably be old, Mayweather be retired. Let's say that. Okay? There's nobody that he's going to be able to fight except for Terrell Brooks, Bradley, and if Danny Garcia continue his winning ways and Broner can kind of like, you know, get on a good foot, then maybe. And it's ironic because these guys are all the same age. You know, there's no reason why Broner, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, and Terrell Brooks shouldn't be fighting each other.
Yeah.
What's the boy? Bradley is kind of older, but he's still the same age. But then Bradley's in the middle. He's not as old as Floyd, but he's not as young as those guys.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So Bradley's in the middle. So Bradley will be around and be able to bridge both generations.
Yeah.
So with that being said, those are the opponents left. He just needs to keep winning. And what happened is he will become, and see what happened is when all the cash cows gone, which hardly happens, you can see two things gonna happen. You're gonna have that you're gonna either have the attention shift where the new cash cow at, meaning that what Canelo does, and you know where he's at and what he's doing is where boxing is gonna be following. And the welterweight division may go through a series of just it's not that exciting. It may be like the Donald Curry and Lloyd Hunnigan and all them when Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin and all them kind of faded away. And you had this dullness of Simon Brown, and yes, they fought each other and they knocked each other out, but Mike Tyson was around by then. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So the shift, the paradigm shift.
Yeah. So it may be possible that if Keith Thurman, regardless, if he's undefeated, he's all the things that we say. He's still, if the division is not going to have the drama that brings the attention to it. Because it's not going to be any ducking and dodging and all that. Because if this guy knocks everybody off or they knock each other off, they're going to be fighting each other. And at the end of the day, niggas just like to whine and bitch, and they like the art of complaining. They like to argue knowing that Floyd Mayweather's a cherry picker. But they just like they get off on an argument like a woman. So when nigga is absolute, there's nothing to argue about. So if Keith Thurman, or even if he's Broner or somebody else, if they're dominating division, it's nothing to argue about. They like the fact that we argue with Manny Pacquiao's on steroids. If Mayweather's really decking him, who fought? Niggas like that. They don't care nothing about boxing. They don't care. They just like the social drama of boxing. They like the soap opera. You see what I'm saying? Like a woman. Women talk about soaps. My mom used to talk about, you see what happened? The bullshit. The social part of the boxing is what niggas like, and I came to realize that shit. Niggas will get on your shit. Like I was looking at the YouTube page, and then somebody was like, hey, boxing, one guy come and say boxing rhymes with beats. owned this, he bossed this, but with no facts. And that's what I said, with no facts, dumbass. See, so people just like to say shit because they may agree with a person, or they may just feel sometimes, but they're too emotional. They don't understand boxing.
Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely right about that. Like, even when it comes to the absolute, there ain't no argument for the absolute. If you say that, well, you can't say that this nigga was better than him because they didn't fight. Then they want to argue that shit. Well, they both beat a bunch of motherfuckers, and some of the people that they beat ain't the same motherfucker. So we can go. It'll take us years trying to debate whether these 5 guys was better than these 5 guys based on the guys that they fought. So now we got to analyze every guy that he fought, every guy that he fought, every guy that he fought, every guy that he, and then we got to analyze every guy that he fought, every guy that he fought. You know what I'm saying? So
yep.
It's just, if this nigga didn't fight this nigga, it ain't. It's, the absolute truth is you can't say who was better. You know what I'm saying? Or who would have won that fight. So if the niggas, but if a nigga do win, the nigga get in the ring and beat him, then you can't be telling me that this nigga was better. You know what I'm saying? Or he would have beat, like for instance, you know how even when Broner lost to McDonald, niggas was still saying, oh yeah, he'd get him in a rematch.
Exactly.
What the fuck makes you think that the rematch gonna be different than the first fight?
Exactly.
What are you basing this on? Because
that's how these niggas is, man. That's how these niggas is. That's why that's why I spend time. I just uploaded the video, and I'm pretty sure this gonna be a good one back to upload too. I just uploaded, man. I'm just doing education on how I study boxing, so people can get a better understanding, man. Because debating with these guys, I see that they ain't got no ammunition. I see they really all. It is subjective. But I see that they're just saying it because they oh, how dare you say that type of shit. Like, and I came to realize that yesterday. Like, you can't explain me, and I still haven't, and I'm saying on your video, I still have yet to have anybody select a welterweight that is better than Keith Thurman at the time. I still haven't had nobody to select or even tell me who.
And this is what I realized too when I listened to that video, is that when you say, I know exactly what you're saying, but I think what they're taking is a nigga basically saying like, Keith Thurman is the greatest fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the all-time great. And that's not what you're saying. I know that's not what you're saying, but I think that they're taking it that way. I know, and this is how I believe that you can best put it. If we had a fight card this year and we put Keith Thurman in the red corner, and you can take any current welterweight in the fucking world and put that nigga in the blue corner, you putting your money on Keith Thurman. That's all you saying.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think that people taking it like, well, he ain't even won no title yet. He ain't even beat nobody yet type shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the approach that they're taking it, I believe. But I know where you going with it, and I feel the same way. You put Keith Thurman in one corner, and I don't give a fuck. You can take Pacquiao, Mayweather, Porter, Kell Brook, Amir Khan. Nigga, if I got $500 to bet, I'm betting $500 on Keith Thurman to beat every last one of them.
Exactly.
So it don't mean that he had a better career than Floyd or Pacquiao or Tim Bradley. It don't mean that nigga got no more accolades, none of that shit, because we obviously know that he doesn't. But what we do know is nobody ain't never beat him. And all of the guys that they say that are better than him, none of those guys have chosen to select him as an opponent.
That's simply put.
Yeah.
That's simply put.
So it's almost.
But you still had niggas in the college still argue with you, and that was well put. And niggas still have something to say about that.
Yeah.
What you just said.
Yeah. You know, and it's still like, well, he needs to do something or beat somebody. Well, who the fuck is he supposed to beat if he keep getting like? And 78 said this though. If all of these niggas keep figuring out a reason to pass over him, who is he supposed to beat? Like you said this shit, dog. Niggas, all of a sudden, beating Victor Ortiz for his third straight knockout made Luis Collazo a credible opponent, right? So then you hear all of this, he ducked Collazo shit, right? So and it baffles me, dog, that a nigga who ain't had no layoff is ducking a nigga. Like, for instance, nobody was fucking mentioning Luis Collazo until this nigga beat fucking Victor Ortiz. Nobody mentioned this nigga, right? Nope. So basically, the same argument that them niggas using against Keith Thurman applies to Collazo. Because in all essence, Collazo had to beat somebody for him to even have any credibility to even say Keith Thurman's name, dog. You know what I'm saying? So he finally did that when he beat Victor Ortiz. Even though Victor Ortiz ain't a credible opponent, he was just a cash cow. So beating him, it was deemed as a big win. So now that he's deemed his big win, even though beating Victor Ortiz can't be no better than beating Soto Carras, can it? How the fuck can it be? Because he beat Andre Berto? Well, Soto Carras knocked out Andre Berto. So at the very least, the nigga beat him better than the nigga beat him. You know what I'm saying? So if you analyze it, that win ain't no better than that nigga's win. You know what I'm saying? And then when you consider the fact that that nigga Collazo lost to Berto, makes it even more credible that he had to beat Victor Ortiz to even get in this conversation. So now that he's in this conversation, we'll see what'll happen with these fighters going forward. I can't say, I don't even see how people can literally say that the nigga ducked him. How did nigga duck a nigga in September? The nigga said this shit in September, dog. Right?
Yeah.
I'll fight, what's the name, right? And the nigga was fighting in December, man. Like, that shit was like late September, man. Like, who the fuck niggas can't even tell me who the fuck Collazo beat when he said that shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they know now. Oh, they know now.
Oh, they probably know now.
They know now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Niggas know now because they know a motherfucker coming at them with that fire. So now they going like, let me go look at who he beat so I can make sure. Some bomb.
Exactly.
There was a bomb. I looked at who he fought. I saw the fight. But I was like, you know what I'm saying? That's interesting. But I don't even care to pretend like I know who the nigga was. I ain't even gonna even try to remember or even recount it. I think something like Hernandez or Freddie or Gonzalez or some shit, and he was 30-something and 10 or 13 and something, man. Matter of fact, pull that nigga shit up while we on the computer, man. Let's just actually
maybe that shit, yeah.
Let's just go ahead and look at this shit.
Oh shit. You ready for this one?
Yeah, let me hear this, man.
Alan Sanchez. Want me to tell you what his record was? 12-2-1. Wait. Fuck that. Miguel Calist. Steve Upshur Chambers. Freddie Hernandez. Franklin Gonzalez. David Goldchick Islevic. Andre Berto. Russell Jordan. Edwin De Santos Barros. Shane Mosley. Arthur at that Danuich. Listen, dog. This nigga record. Wait a minute, dog. Wait a minute. After this nigga lost to Ricky Hatton, who at the time, Ricky Hatton was 40-0, right?
Mm-hmm.
This nigga fought a guy whose record was 9-5, dog. 9-5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he beats that guy. Then he fights Shane Mosley, and he loses. This next guy that he fights, guess what this nigga record was? 9-4-1.
Okay.
Let me tell you the next record. 15-5 was the next guy's record, and he was coming off of back-to-back L's. Then he comes and loses to Andre Berto, right? Let me tell you the record of the next nigga he fought, dog. This nigga was 9-16.
Oh man.
So let me tell you the record of the next nigga he fought. This nigga record was 13-8. And this nigga was 1-5 in his last 6 fights. Here go his best fights right here. Freddie Hernandez, 29-2. He was coming off a 5-fight win streak. Steve Chambers, he was 24-1, coming in with a win streak, at least 6 fights. He beat Miguel Callis, who was 27-8-1. And he fought Alan Sanchez, who was 12-2-1, dog, and called out motherfucking a nigga who had just knocked off the best Argentinian fighter that Argentina has rated in Diego Chavez, right?
Then he beat Ortiz. So he on a he on a 6-fight win streak?
No, he's on a 4-fight win streak.
Good. That's all that we need to know, because that's
dog. The nigga lost. Hey, listen. Everybody who had a decent record, he lost to. He lost to Freddie Hernandez. He lost to Andre Berto. He lost to Shane Mosley, and he lost to Ricky Hatton.
Yeah, it's good though. It's good that he is good, because now when he beat Collazo, it's added to the accolades of Keith Thurman. Because I mean, by the time we get done with this, we're gonna know that nigga Keith Thurman resume in and out, because he's on. I don't want to hear nobody say nothing about Collazo. He's on a 4-fight winning streak, and he's doing his thing. So we're gonna see. And then he took that little other title that he got, and it's good.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm like, because you asked me before, I'm okay with him fighting Collazo. I'm not fearful of him being in there with Collazo. And then them niggas had the nerve to say, and I heard all them dudes say that Collazo, they picking Collazo to beat Keith Thurman if the fight happened. I heard 3 niggas say that shit.
Yeah.
I heard Beats, Earl Jarrett, and the other dude, Chris something. All them dudes said that they picking fucking Collazo. The nigga who lost to Freddie Hernandez, Andre Berto, and Ricky Hatton to beat Keith Thurman. I actually want the fight to happen now, dog.
I want the fight to happen now. And I don't see how he's better than Carlos Quintana though. That's what I don't get.
How? Yeah, who the fuck? Listen, dog, I just read off this nigga resume. This nigga don't have no wins over nobody that has no prominent name. Every time he got 5 fights against prominent guys, like guys that you can name.
Listen, I got you. Pull up Carlos Quintana record, and then what I'm finna do is I'm finna go and sit down and pull up the IBO, the computerized rankings, and I'm gonna see what they got them at, and we can just fuck around with this for a little bit, man, and break this shit down. You got it?
Hold on.
All right, I'm going to the IBO right quick to see where is Luis Collazo. I'm gonna tell you what he ranked at.
Damn, how you spell that name? Quintana.
Carlos Quintana. He's with a Q.
I know. I can't find that shit, damn it. Let me see.
Shit, man, I don't even see this nigga on here being ranked, man. God damn.
Who?
I'm trying to see if I'm going over this again. I see Pacquiao, Guerrero, Broner, Alexander, McCurran, Thurman, Palmanaji, Vargas, Hurton, Carras, Bandu, Abreu. Okay. No, that's Abreu. Roberto, Rios, Frankie Gavin, Brando Bay, Luis Colazo. There you go. Check it out. His last win was against a nigga that was ranked 22nd in the world, 59th, 61. The next nigga wasn't ranked because it's just a W. He had an L and then a W. And Keith Thurman got a win, a 80, a 12, a 13, a 20, and a 6. So Keith Thurman, okay. Keith Thurman, lowest opponent was a guy that was a win at 80, and Luis Colazo's was 2 wins, 2 W's, and then at that it was 61 and 50. Man, this man gonna get himself hurt, man.
Okay, listen.
And then his record in the top 50 is 3-4. Keith Thurman is let me see something. He's 4-0.
Okay.
So we can add 5-0 to that.
Okay, so Carlos Quintana, he kind of the same in a sense, but the guys that he lost to were better fighters than the guys that what's his name lost to. He lost to Paul Williams. He lost to Miguel Cotto. He lost to Andre Berto and Keith Thurman. He has 4 losses. 1, 2, 3, 4 losses. Now, Miguel Cotto is a Hall of Famer. Paul Williams, possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how they're going to do him based on the fact that his career was cut short. You know what I'm saying? But he was a good fighter. Hell, he was 33-1 when he, he was undefeated when he beat him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he beat Joel Julio when he was undefeated, which was the fight that put him on the map. He beat Paul Williams when he was undefeated, and didn't nobody want to fight him. Then he went on to lose to Paul Williams and Andre Berto and Keith Thurman. Now, check this out. He beat DeAndre Lattimore, who was he was 23-3 at the time, which was a decent win. And that's pretty much it.
They the same,
so they pretty much the same. In all actuality, the guys that he lost to were better fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, you take Luis Colazo. They both lost to Andre Berto, right? So that's a scratch. Then he lost to Miguel Cotto. This motherfucker lost to Ricky Hatton. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Cotto beat Shane Mosley.
Right. Cotto beat Shane Mosley. So
they said Ricky Hatton can beat Cotto.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So you lost to Ricky Hatton, Shane Mosley, and you know what I'm saying? So even the L's that Quintana has are better L's than Luis Colazo. But like I say, they pretty much almost the same guy. But the best wins in Carlos Quintana's career is way better than any of the wins that Luis Colazo has. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if you take DeAndre Lattimore, undefeated Paul Williams, and undefeated Joel Julio, those 3 guys up against anybody that Luis Colazo beat, it's a no-brainer. So you can say they even, but if you got to tilt the scale one way, it's almost like scoring a round. You got to give it to Carlos Quintana. You got to. There ain't no ifs, ands, way around that shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? I just named off the guys that he beat. Every guy that I can name that you might recognize, the nigga got an L. You know what I'm saying? So he has no win over any guy that you might be able to recognize. No win over no guy with a record. You know what I'm saying? All right. Miguel Gonzalez. That was his best win. That dude was 49-41.
Now when he lost to Cotto was undefeated, and when he lost to Berto was also undefeated as well, too, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see. When I look at
it was his first L.
Right. Yeah, he was still undefeated. Okay, so yeah, So when Cotto and Quintana fought, they were both undefeated fighters at the time.
And he beat and what Joe Julio was undefeated, right?
Undefeated too, yeah. He was undefeated too, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So matter of fact, he came off the Joel Julio win and fought Miguel Cotto. You know what I'm saying? Actually, both of those guys was 27-0 when he fought both of them. You know what I'm saying? So that's a better resume already than anything that is on Luis Collazo's record. You know what I'm saying? Anything. Matter of fact, I'm trying to look at anybody who has a decent win percentage, dog. I'm looking at this shit, dog. Okay, he lost to a guy early in his career who was 22-3. I remind you, Luis Collazo lost to this guy. That was the first guy with 20 wins that he fought, and who had any type of win streak coming into a fight too. So he lost that fight. So he fought a guy who was 8-0-1, and he beat him. You know what I'm saying? It was another guy, Felix Flores. He was coming off of a loss, but in his last 6 fights, he was 4-2. He was 19-3. Nah, that's a decent record. You know what I'm saying? I guess, right? So the nigga he fought after that, 2005, right? January of 2005, right? You ready for this one? This nigga was 7-41 and 1 draw.
Man, listen, man, it ain't even that. Man, he gonna get it. Look, listen, this gonna be a murder, and it ain't gonna do nothing else for Keith Thurman. I ain't even finna get into it with these guys about this nonsense. They know better. They just doing that shit just to
I know.
just talk. But Keith Thurman knocked this dude out there to be something else.
Yep.
I want to still fight everybody now. I mean, I don't really mind now because I see where we're going. I just shit. If he fights Collazo, shit, I want to see him fight Khan. I want to see him fight. Shit, that don't matter, man. I want to see him fight everybody, whether he lose, win, or draw.
You know what's fucked up? Like you said, right. He gonna fuck around. Like, let's say he fight Collazo, and he knock him out 3-4 rounds or some shit. You know, this is just hypothetically speaking. What he's gonna have to do is he gonna have to have a Triple G turnaround and fight another nigga in like July or something. You know what I'm saying?
And he gonna have to.
Yep. And that's literally what Victor Luis Collazo should be doing his damn self. He should be in the ring right now fighting another bum just to keep his name. You know what I'm saying?
So that probably don't Paulo Malignaggi. If he beat Collazo, then maybe Paulo Malignaggi will want to get in there because he beat up his friend. So hopefully he get go. I want to see him fight Paulie too. You know, I want to see him fight Paulie and Amir Khan and shit. Hell, even Kell Brook. I want to see Kell Brook mix up with Amir Khan and fight Sean Porter. You know what I'm saying? I want to kind of see them get these niggas out of here, and then I want to see Sean Porter, Kell Brook, and Keith Thurman in a big fight. Man, you know they offered Amir Khan $8 million allegedly to fight Kell Brook in the UK, man.
I seen that, man. I was like, damn.
Kell Brook is cashed out and birthday.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely a birthday and cash cow.
Amir Khan is too, though. We're trying to get them two to have that would be a mega fight, though. It's just Amir Khan just ain't undefeated. If Amir Khan was even if he had beat Danny Garcia and you know, he would have been straight. And won against Lamont Peterson, he would have been a real. Well, he probably would have had the Floyd fight right now, but
hell yeah, man. He'd have been the number one. It wouldn't even been no thought. But see, like I said, even though he's a birthday and cash cow, he's fading because not only is he losing, he don't even look good when he wins, and that just lets you know. That lets you know how much of a cash cow that nigga is, dog. He's been losing, and he don't even look good in his wins, and he was still ready to fight. Yep. And they still trying to get this nigga a ton of money to fight Kell Brook. And I think that he don't want to take that fight because it's too risky. Because that'd be his 4th loss. Yeah.
I nigga gonna take that $8 million and whoop that nigga ass.
Shit. You know what? If Kell Brook beat Amir Khan, he'll be spawned, dog. He'll be spawned. Hey, that was another dude who got spawned. Danny Garcia was hot, but what put him on the map? Knocking out Amir Khan.
Exactly.
Hell, he had to beat Eric Morales twice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right now, you ready to grab these other guys and bring them on in? Because I think we pretty much good on this. You know what I'm saying? Interrupted the shit of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get boxing talk. I mean, boxology.
Devin Alexander and whoever the fan wants to see.
Listen, I told you give them something visual, so you in the head and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.
Rollo Jenkins, boxologist, Zone 6. Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News, Blood Boxing, Blood Fists, Boxing Beats and Rhymes, Female Boxing Fan, Carter J, Pull Counter, Joker Boxing, D Styles, the whole YTBC.